Procrastination, laziness, and avoidance. These three words get thrown around a lot, and I think most people misdiagnose them. And because of that, they miss the actual fix. Here's the simplest way to understand what's actually happening. Procrastination isn't laziness. It isn't a lack of discipline. It isn't even a lack of motivation. It's a starting problem. That's it. That's the whole thing. The task isn't too hard. It isn't too big. It isn't too boring. It's just the gap between where you are and where the task begins that feels enormous. And your brain very reasonably refuses to jump. So you don't. You don't act. And the longer you don't act, the bigger the jump feels. The bigger the gap feels. And the bigger the gap feels, the less likely you are to jump. And the less likely you are to jump, the more the task looms. And the more it looms, the worse you feel about not jumping. It's a shame spiral with a very simple exit door that nobody uses because nobody told them that the door was there. The exit is just 2 minutes. Not a productivity system, not a morning routine, not a dopamine detox, or a Notion template, or a YouTube rabbit hole about optimizing your workspace. 2 minutes. Set whatever you're doing down. Don't negotiate with yourself. Don't wait for motivation to show up. Don't promise yourself you'll do it after this episode, after this reel, after this scroll, after this snack. 2 minutes. That's it. That's the only rule. Just start. And here's what nobody tells you about starting. The resistance is almost entirely in the approach, not the task itself. Once you begin, something shifts. The gap closes. The brain re-engages. The task stops being a looming abstract threat and becomes a concrete thing that you are doing. A thing that you are simply doing is very hard to stop. Because momentum doesn't care about motivation. Momentum only cares about movement. Once you're moving, even slowly, even reluctantly, the inertia flips. Stopping becomes the effort. Continuing becomes the default. Your brain, which 60 seconds ago was constructing elaborate reasons to avoid this task, is now locked in. Because that's what brains do when they're actually inside of something. This is why 2 minutes works when nothing else does. It's not a trick. It's not thinking positive. It's physics. An object at rest stays at rest. An object in motion stays in motion. You were the object at rest. And here's where it gets interesting. Think about the projects sitting in the back of your mind right now. Not the small stuff, the real ones. The creative project you've been meaning to start for 8 months. The business idea you keep returning to in the shower. The thing you tell people you're planning to do and then quietly change the subject. For me, it was starting this YouTube channel. All it took was sitting down, recording for 2 minutes, editing for 2 minutes. Once I started, I could not stop. I set myself down for 2 minutes, an hour, 2 hours went by. Boom, the YouTube video is done. That's it. It's that simple. Those projects don't stay unfinished because you lack talent. They don't stay unfinished because the timing isn't right. They don't stay unfinished because you need more information, better equipment, or a clearer vision. They stay unfinished because you never started. Or worse, you started once, stopped, and now the gap feels even bigger than before. 2 minutes closes that gap. Not permanently, not magically, but enough. Enough to remind you what it feels like inside of the work. Enough to rebuild the thread between you and the thing that you actually care about. Enough to turn a project that has been haunting you for months into something that you worked on today. And then tomorrow, 2 minutes again. And then suddenly, the thing that felt impossible is just a thing that you do. That's the quiet truth. Most productivity advice is too complicated to say. You don't need a system that manages your tasks. You need a system that gets you started. Everything else follows from there. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for a clear afternoon, a clean desk, a quiet house, or a burst of inspiration that may never come. Set a timer for 2 minutes. Just start.